Good afternoon, teacher. My name is Diana Pilatosic. This is the element 2 reading strategies. I'm going to present the reading strategies. Next, different reading strategies. Here we have reviewing the text to get an overview, skimming, scanning, and intensive reading. Next, previewing the text to get an overview. This means that you get an idea of what it's about without reading the main body of the text. When to use it? To help you locate relevant information, to help you identify the section of the text you might need to read or the section that you can omit. To preview, start by reading the title of an author details, the abstract if there is one, then read only main highlights and sub-highlights, chapter summarize, and any highlight text, etc. Next, skimming. Skimming allows you to pick up some of the main ideas without paying attention to the detail. It's a fast process. A single chapter should take only a few minutes. When to use it? To quickly locate relevant sections from a large quantity of writing material. Skimming adds further information to an overview. How to skim? Not any bold print and graphics. Start at the beginning of the reading and glide your eyes over the text very quickly. Do not read the text in total. You might read a few words of every paragraph, perhaps the first and the last sentence. Always familiarize yourself with the reading material by gaining an overview or skimming before reading in detail. Next, intensive reading. Intensive reading is detailed, focused, study reading of those important parts, page or chapters. When to use it? When you have reviewing an article and use the techniques of skimming and scanning to find what you need to concentrate on. Then you can slow down and do something intense in reading. How to read intensively? Underline any unfamiliar words or phrase, but not stop the flow of your reading. Underline, highlights, or make a brief note. Be alert to the main ideas. When you have finished, go back to unfamiliar vocabulary and search the meaning. Next, scanning. What is it? It's sweeping your eyes like a radar over part of text to find specific pieces of information and when to use it to quickly locate a specific information from a large quantity of material, of writing material, and to scan text to start scanning the text by allowing your eyes or finger to move quickly over the page. As soon as your eyes catch an important word or phrase, don't stop. When you locate information requiring attention, you think slow down to read the relevant section more thoroughly. It should only be used to locate material quickly. Next. And here we have parts of the reading section in the FCE exam. Now I'm going to explain each one. Next, what the reading and use of the English paper is about grammar, vocabulary, and reading comprehension. There are 7 sections to do in 5 minutes, basically 10 minutes per section. Part 1, multiple choice clues. This focus mainly on vocabulary, but also occasionally grammar. This one is a multiple choice, so for each gap, you need to choose the correct answer from 4 options. I'm going to present some tips for do well. There will always be a title to the text. Use this to get an idea of the theme of the text. Read the text first before you attempt to answer any question. Sometimes an understanding of the way that the context is necessary in order to choose the correct word. A key tactic is this exercise is to look for clues around each gap. The word or words before or after the gap will often be part of a set phrase and will help you decide which of the choose four words is the correct one. You find it difficult to make the choice, eliminate those you know are the wrong, and if necessary, make a guess to the correct answer. Next. This is an example where I used all these previously tips and it's so useful. For example, here we have the one I relate rather than the national or world study of at the school. It doesn't morely involve drawing a familiar tree. However, trying your familiar story can also continue complete this activity. Next, in the part 2, open close text with gaps. And the second part in which you use one word to fill each space in a short text. In this part, we can find a focus on grammatical or lexicogrammatical format, a modified closed text containing A gaps. Number of questions has A questions. How many marks are there? 1 mark for each correct answer. And what is the testing? The testing is about modal verbs and auxiliary, quantifiers, articles, determiners, preposition, linking word and conjunction, and relative pronouns. So next, I'm gonna present also some tips for this part. Read the paragraph or sentences. Underline the word that the word in gap needs to go together with. In the majority of the case, only one word is an acceptable answer in a gap, and there are very rarely more than 2 or 3 possibilities. If a student know what kind of word it should be, but can word out with which one, they should again usually go with their first thoughts and what should write rather than thinking about for too long. Part next, please. Here we have an example of this section. I just read the first one. The Goulburn Valley is situated in southeast corner of the Australian continent in the state of Victoria because of the introduction of imagination over the century ago. And next, continue the activity. Complete activity. Next, please. Part 3. The part 3, there are texts of approximately 200 words. In the text, there are 10 gaps. For each gap, you are given the word stem to make the correct word of the missing word. Here we have some themes also. Make sure you read the title and the complete text first before attempting your answer any question. Having an overview of the content will sometimes help you to identify the form of missing word. Decide whether the missing word is a noun, a verb, an adjective, an adverb, etc. Pay attention of the sentence, contain the gap, and decide if the missing word has a positive or negative meaning. If the word is a noun, does it need to be in a plural form or in a singular form? It depends the context. Next, this is an example of this part, and this is the China is currently the largest. Here we have product, but the correct answer is producer. It's called like producer, like an adjective. Next, please. Here we have the part 4. The part 4, there are 6 questions in this part of the exam. Each word 2 marks, total 12 marks. For each question, you complete a second tense, so that it has a similar meaning to the first sentence. You must use between 2 and 5 words, including the words you are giving. Here we have some tips for this part. Paraphrase ability, paraphrasing grammar, vocabulary, and collocation. Underline the part of the first sentence that you need to change to help you focus. Read the whole answer when you have finished to check for careless mistakes which might make you lose a mark. Next. For example, here we have this example. The number 1 say, have you been on holiday recently, Jane? Asked Tony. And the correct answer is Tony asked Jane if she had been on holiday recently. This tip is so useful for complete this part. And next, please. Part 5. The multiple choice. Focus on the understanding of a long text, including the tail, option, and also text organization. Features such as the use of example, comparison, and reference. As here we have some tips. Read the text first before you attempt to answer any question. Read the text first before you attempt to answer. Okay. Read each question, find and underline the part of the text which answer the question. Don't choose an answer simply because a word in the question appears in the text. Find evidence in the text to justify your chosen answer. Next. Here we have an example of this part. We can see in the first paragraph, what is the Kai's main point about the outline? It refers the whole reading, but after you can select one of the items. Next. Part 6. In the part 6, the text with 6 sentences missing. The question type you will need to answer here is in gapped text. This means that you are giving a reading passage that has sentence missing. Below the text are the missing sentence in the row order. Sorry. You have to decide which sentence belongs in which gap. And there are 6 questions in this section, and each one is worth 2 marks. Here we have some tips for this part. Read the text quickly, ignoring the gaps. Analyze the sentence. Analyze what is before and after the gaps and find a match. And finally, reading the text again. Please, next. The example of this part is uh, this part gives you pa- um, the whole paragraph, and after you read and select the correct answer. Next, please. In the part seven, the multiple matching task, there is an emphasis on locating a specific information in a text or a group of short text. Here are some tips to following this part, to help in this part. Read the text quickly first, then the text to get an idea of the focus of each one. Look through the question again and try to match the easier ones first. The easier ones will often be tools that paraphrase something that is starting in the text. Make sure any match you choose answer the question fully. Don't simply match a question with a section of the text that contains the same word. Next. And finally, here we have an example of this section. And, and this example is according to the reading, you have to complete or you have to select the correct answer. Thank you, teacher. That's all.